What's up, guys? On this episode of Inspiration Nation, I'm going to be cleaning up the OBS chassis, installing a flip kit, C-notch, and 3-inch lowering springs to where we can get the ride height of the truck where it needs to be. It's got like scale all over it. I saw it on the internet on the old TikTok shop. I ended up going to Amazon and buying it off of Amazon. It's a sandblaster attachment for your freaking power washer. So you got this in, you jam it down in a bucket full of sandblasting sand, and this end just quick connects into the pressure washer wand, and we've got the old Honda 3000, and we're gonna see how well it cleans up the chassis. I will say it's not dusty, but you still get sand everywhere. Now it's time to start on the flip kit. I got a cheap eBay flip kit that we're gonna install, and it should drop it 6 inches. Now, I am going to have to use the shackles from the long bed, because I believe these shackles are like a leveling kit. They look like they're lowering kit versus the stock ones that are on the long bed chassis. Let's get at it. It's just, oh, I hate my job. Oh, that was tightening it. Ah, see, that makes sense. I think I was zigging when I should have been zagging there. We got everything out of the way, and I have done some measuring off camera because I refuse to give you guys a time lapse of me measuring and drawing lines. So I determined that this hole is the same on both sides. Measuring from the rear leaf spring perch forward, we came forward 25 inches. We made a line. And we come 33 inches, made a line. Then we come off of the original bump stop up 3 inches and made a line. Then on the top, we come from the rear leaf spring perch 26 inches and 32 inches. We've mimicked it on the other side, but this is my C-notch. Yes, I could just buy a $70 C-notch, but I already have steel, and I have a plasma cutter and a tape measure. Why not do it myself for free, or at least already paid for? So I've come over here and I've cut two 2.5 by 12-inch strips off of this plate steel, 3-inch, 6-inch, 3-inch, right? And then I've used my little Harbor Freight magnets, made a curd board template, basically CAD work, you know, cardboard assisted design. By the way, we got a new shop model. You throw that thing back there, sir. He's single, ladies. He's single. See, now it's going to hold its structure enough to stick it in the frame rail and tack it in place, and then we can come in and cut it and weld it all solid. Yeah. Drop test. It's good. Now we got it welded in. We're just gonna basically cut it out on the backside and follow in the chalk mark. Safety third. And that's what it looks like when it's all cut out. That's 3 inches up into the frame. That should definitely clear a flip kit, no problem. I'm still gonna come in here and weld it a little more solid and clean it up. And we've got to do the inside plate on the chassis. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I made some measurements and some templates and everything to cut out my inner boxing for the C-notches, and I'm not overly worried about everything. I brought it out 3 inches on both sides from the original C-notch, and it should be cut just short enough to fall right with the factory chassis so that I could weld them together really, really nicely. And I do have a plasma cutting tech tip for straight edges. I've got some of this aluminum edge guard stuff for tile work. And if you rest it on that little groove, it's the perfect distance away to make perfectly cut straight cuts. And it's aluminum, so it don't get as hot. And that right there is how you cut a perfectly straight line with a plasma cutter. Let's test fit. Oh, that's gonna be beautiful. See, I wanted it to where it was gonna sit just below the edge so I can weld it in really nice. So the chassis does do a little kink from the factory there. So the outward kick there, flat piece of metal. So we'll literally weld it to here, then use some clamps and pull it in. Yippity dappity boo. Haha, just like that. With the magic of YouTube, we have 100% a complete C-notch on our OBS truck. Time to move on to the wire wheeling, and POR 15 I think is what I'm going to be using, just the chassis paint. And I'm going to go from probably the front suspension back. Alright, it's the next morning, and the POR 15 is all dried up and everything. I'm not the biggest fan of the gloss black, but hey, I had it in the cabinet. It was already paid for, and if you can't tell already, we are trying to do the most low budget, cost effective cool truck build possible. I think it did turn out nice. There's a few spots, but let's be honest. I brush painted POR 15. It's never gonna be perfect, but I will say, if you brush paint POR 15, do not get it on your hands, because I'm gonna wear this Riot for like 4 or 5 days. I even got it on the side of my face and a spot on my nose. Now it's time to clean up the rear end and the leaf springs and roll it under here with the flip kit and see what we can do. It's been a few days. The chassis is dried, the rear axle is dried, and the leaf springs have dried. I swiped some leaf spring bolts from the old chassis, but now I'm basically gonna hang the rear end and see how low she gonna look. I noticed that the eBay flip kit wasn't thin enough to slip up in there, so I've actually had to scribe a couple little lines on each side and then put it in the old grinder there to make sure that it actually slips up inside there, because it wouldn't originally. Alright, now that we've gotten all the rear suspension, flip kit, and all that stuff put in, it's time to set the cab back on the chassis. Once we get the cab mounted to the chassis, I'm going to blow the front suspension apart, get some POR 15 all on the chassis rails and all that good stuff. And then I have eBay lowering springs that I bought for the Suburban project, and they just dumped the Suburban a little further than I wanted. But the OBS, it's got a lot it's lower in the rear, so we think the cheap eBay springs are going to work. And at that point, it's a whole cheap eBay lowering kit, lowering springs, and like a $35 flip kit off of eBay. Oh, and because I'm cheap and impatient, I just sandblasted and refurbished the body bushings because they were kind of okay. So we've got to come over like an inch. So we're gonna do the whole bunny hop. It looks really short. Like
it does.
Like looking at an OBS Chevy with just the cab on it, it makes you really start questioning if I cut too much out of it to make it stubby truck. but I know it's right, but got all the front suspension back in. I put a fender on it just to see what kind of gap we were going to go with. It looks perfect. Problem is, we still don't have no motor, no bed, no gas tank, no battery, and no me. So it's probably going to sit quite a bit lower than it is right now, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The next episode, we're going to go scoop up the motor, get it all cleaned up and stuck in, and keep on going with the project because the C10 Fall Revival is creeping up on us, and we got to stay on that deadline. Now, if you guys are interested in any kind of support to the channel, jump down to the description. We got links to all the t-shirts and merch that we've got going on. We got some really awesome t-shirts. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and send this video to your homies. Maybe it'll get them inspired to build a truck to come out to the C10 Fall Revival and hang out with your boy.